I really couldn't shave for my job. I'm shaving actually immediately following this stream. I'm shaving and showering because tomorrow's my day off with Kat. So since I'm actually going to be in front of real people, that's when I shave. So there you go. You know, I streaming on the internet on a tiny webcam, not a big deal. Actually going out, I don't want to look like a bum when I'm with my wife. So there you go.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, DSP. Oh boy, it's going to take a little while to get used to that. Let's see. Actually, I have a double header for you, if you will. Let's see. First video will be free time in September. And contributions are mandatory. Oh boy. Oh boy. Mandatory, ladies and gentlemen. Mandatory. And the second one is September monthly goal. And I don't speak with just one person. Okay. Sure. Whatever. As for contributions are mandatory, we kind of all know this. More likely a slip of the tongue, but in truth though, that's what he was thinking, so that's why he said it. Free time in September. Catherine has a birthday coming up either on the 5th or on the 6th of September. So we can go ahead and wish her a happy birthday on that. Especially since Panda's birthday just passed, to be honest. I don't know if her birthday was on like the 28th or the 29th of August. But she just had a birthday that passed too. So it must be nice to have two former lovers, well, to have a former lover and then your wife have birthdays so close to each other within 2 weeks. Big ups to that. Anyway, and let's see, September's monthly goal. I'm sure that's a joke, so we'll make fun of that as we need to. And I don't speak to just one person. It kind of does. If you think about it on a daily basis, he really does kind of just speak to one person, which is usually Catherine. You could say the people in this chat, but he really just responds to them more than actually speaking to them. But that's neither here nor there. We're splitting hairs at that point. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast proper, because we already know what's on our plates, and we can go ahead and make this happen. Hopefully you guys have your SnortBucks coffee nearby, and it's time for me to go ahead and get breakfast together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking yet, but I'm on it. So please sit back, relax with your large cup of SnortBucks coffee, iced coffee, cappuccino, milkshake, whatever, smoothie, whatever your case may be, whatever your choice was. And time to watch me work.
Play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
One can only hope. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with one of two videos on the broadcast. First one is Snort Burnell, DSP. Free time in September and contributions are mandatory. Make sure you bring your wallets, ladies and gentlemen. Define Snort on that. And here we go.
The first week of September, my schedule is going to be very odd. and I just want to forewarn everyone about this, okay? The first week of September, my schedule is very odd because, number one, there's one night that I can't stream at all due to personal reasons, and number two, I'm taking Kat's birthday off so that we can celebrate it together. So there's two completely separate things going on that are kind of throwing a monkey wrench into my usual schedule that first week of September. So I will let you guys know once we hit that week, what's going on with that schedule.
I don't have money to pay off my credit cards.
No, he doesn't. Now, funny thing, on Kiwi Farms, they have a little poll there that you can see as soon as you log into the DSP section, which surmises that the 2 days that it's going to be taken off, which sounds like a Thursday, Friday, or it's a Friday, Saturday, is going to eventually just be the whole weekend. So, if that's the case, then we need some build up to that. Either, Phil needs to be sick, Phil's going to have equipment issues, Phil's going to have internet issues, what have you. So if it turns out to be that type of thing, where we end up having some type of mishap that's going to require him to take the whole weekend off, I mean, just keep your eye out on it. Could be interesting because Kiwi Farms already is kind of already predicting it, and that kind of fits into Phil's MO too. If you're going to already take the night stream off, then you're going to take the following day afterwards. You really don't think he's not going to take those last 2 days, if you will, depending on when her birthday falls on? So, I guess we'll see.
So, this is money that I used to easily have flexibility, and it's gone. Just gone like that. In an instant. Fucking gone. But it's tough. It really is tough. Like, right now, I'm being honest with you guys. I have no money. My bank account is empty.
Well, we've got a ways to go. We got a whole other week to get through first before we start worrying about the first week of September. But I've got some good news. I announced this on last night's late stream, and I want to share it with all of you, okay? So the good news is as follows. I was gifted a 3-month pass to Microsoft Game Pass.
Thanks for the money, dummies.
And what that means is that not only am I going to be able to play Blair Witch this coming week for free, which is great, I also am going to be able to play Gears of War 5, and I'm going to be playing it, both as a campaign playthrough and trying out the multiplayer, but also, it actually means I have early access to Gears of War 5. When you get it under Microsoft Game Pass, you actually get it early.
Day one views, day one inflated views, make the money, give me the money.
And so, I'll have the ability to play Gears of War 5 as early as the 6th of September, but as I just said, I'm taking some time off for Kat's birthday, so I'm not going to be playing it exactly on that day, alright? But it looks like I may be playing it earlier on, like maybe I'll play it the 7th of September, we'll start up the playthrough of it. So there will be some new release stuff in early September, earlier than I even expected that originally it would be. So that's a good thing, okay? That's a very good thing. And we'll see how that goes.
Now, Microsoft Pass, when it was introduced, right, that was like that $10 service that they had each month, right? Where you could play basically anything on the Microsoft library, plus you can play like new releases. Like, didn't he play, what was the name of that pirate game that everybody thought was going to be really cool and was going to have the open world thing, and it turned out to be not so great. I hear it's better now, but wasn't as good as everybody thought it was going to be. It's not High Tide. I can't think of it right now. I apologize. But you guys know what I'm talking about. I think he actually had the service, or he was contemplating on getting it around that time. I thought he actually purchased it, the $10 service. I guess he didn't. But I didn't know you could gift that. And if that's the case, and if Microsoft actually has... Actually, let's go ahead and start getting into some theories here. Not exactly a Theo theory, but, let's think about this. If you can gift that service to people, yeah? When the Xbox Sapphire comes out, it's like 2020, and all the hot games that come out of that, all the hot games end up coming all up and out of that one. I would assume he'll just have people gift that monthly service to him as well. But here's another thing. Now that I think about it, if you can play any game in Microsoft's library through this service, right? Why would he need to buy the games for the Rageathon? Because isn't like one or two of those games on Xbox Live? But if he has access to the Xbox Game Pass, then he wouldn't even need that, right? Because he could just use the Xbox Game Pass to play the games? I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I might be wrong about how the service works, but something to think about. DSP News.
Go. Like I said, I've been very skeptical about Gears of War 5. Very skeptical, because Gears of War 4 I felt wasn't bad, but it definitely kind of felt like a fan service game. It felt like this game's not bad, but it's like made by a different group of people. It doesn't have the feel of the original Gears trilogy. Much like how I explained Halo 4 and 5 don't feel like Halo games, you know? They feel more like games that fans put together. So, because I have Microsoft Game Pass now, I'll be able to...
Phil, not every game can be like Super Turbo 20 years after the fact. Games are going to change over time. It's what pushes the market. It's what pushes the industry. Having some things that are familiar is one thing, but to have every game be a carbon copy of something that you're comfortable with or what you thought was a good idea to proceed is kind of ridiculous. Look at your streaming. Look at your YouTube. It tells a story.
to check out these games without any risk, financial risk of, oh god, I bought them and now they stink or whatever. That's a good thing. So I'm excited to try these games out. I hope that you guys are excited to see me play them, okay? Now, the other thing is, I have a 3-month membership with Microsoft Game Pass. Now, I don't know of any other Microsoft exclusive games coming out in the next 3 months, but if there ends up being any dead time, which potentially there might be, I was looking at the schedule, and it looks like potentially, excuse me, potentially, maybe 1 or 2 times in September, or maybe even in mid-October, there may not be much going on in regards to new releases, which is, I know, is weird. This is the hardcore gaming season, the busy fall gaming season.
That's probably not even the case. It's probably the amount of games that he's planning on skipping because he doesn't want to play them. Other people are going to ask him to play it, but he's not going to play it. How many big releases did he skip only in the last month or two? Because Phil's an idiot, you see. And he thinks that just because he thinks the game's not going to be successful, he doesn't find it worthwhile to play. While everybody else is racking up money on YouTube and Twitch respectfully, and Mixer, by the way, with the views, with contributions, and so on and so forth, Phil says the game's a flop. The game's not going to go anywhere. Making himself look like a total ass clown on Twitter every time he says dumb shit like that, while everybody else is just racking it up. And he says there's no opportunities to make money on YouTube. And there's no sponsorship involved with that. It's a game that people want to see, and they want to see a variety of different people play it. So having different perspectives is a good thing and would work to his advantage, kinda. But even which way, he won't do it. He finds ways to castrate himself just so he can get more money out of this small little pond of people that are still left. It makes absolutely no sense. Because what happens when the pond dries up? Guess we'll wait and see.
For some reason, we've got big gaps in the release schedule. Inexplicable. I don't know why there would be these gaps in the game schedule, but there are. Okay? So, that being said, I don't really know what's going to happen, but having the Game Pass, is going to maybe be a good positive.
Minimum effort, minimum money and time involved, maximum profit.
And maybe it will enable me to play a game or two that I originally hadn't thought about playing, but it could be like a filler thing until the new releases come out, okay? Now, in addition to that, last night when I enabled this 3-month Game Pass membership, Grand Theft Auto 4 had a big update, a 7GB update, that automatically downloaded to my Xbox One. And I don't even know what the update was. What I'm thinking is maybe under Game Pass, maybe the DLCs for Grand Theft Auto 4 are free. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm just assuming.
And you couldn't Google the most recent Grand Theft Auto update and see what it was? Like, we're sitting here trying to play guessing games when he could just easily Google it and just find out what's going on. Or he could go on Twitter and put in hashtag Grand Theft Auto and see what they're saying. There's a whole community around Grand Theft Auto. This isn't hard.
So I guess we'll see. I don't know how to access them. I really don't remember. But I'm curious to see what that 7GB update was.
Some people have asked me, am I going to do the DLCs for this game? And the answer is, I don't know yet. Let's see what happens timing-wise and everything, okay?
That means no.
Well, if they're free, obviously a bigger chance that I would do it. I don't know.
People are saying it's previously removed music being added back in. What? Is that true? They accidentally added all the music back into the game? Why on earth? First of all, why on earth would they do that? Second of all, why is it 7 gigs? 7 gigs to add
Oh, that's right. He plays Grand Theft Auto without the music in it, so he's really going to have a whole lot of time trying to cover that up. Which is stupid, too, because YouTube's supposed to be an archive channel. So, what does he care? I don't know. And he doesn't add any commentary in his own right, so he's not going to bring anything to it. So sad. And I think there's certain radio stations he can choose that have music on it that probably won't even get copyright struck. But, you know, you would have to research, and that's not in Phil's forte.
some songs into the game.
Oh, I gotta take a sip.
Contributions are greatly appreciated. Contributions keep things going, and contributions are essential for my continued success. However,
Contributions are mandatory, or not, excuse me. Boy, did I screw that one up.
Wow. You know what? One day he's going to have to come out and say that. He's going to have to say, hey, anybody here, if you're watching my stream, if you're enjoying my content, I know it sounds something similar to what he already says, but, you know, I would really appreciate it if you are here to please donate $1. You know what I mean? It just shows that you guys like the content, you guys like what I'm putting out, and you guys, even if you don't like the video game very much, you still support me. Eventually, he's going to have to come to that. He's starting to run out of options. If he's only making $30 or $40 in the first stream of the day, and that's what, 4 hours, that's $10 an hour. Oh boy, that's a bit of a problem. Now, granted, he made like $300 in cheers, but that doesn't mean anything, ladies and gentlemen, in DSP lore, because he doesn't see that for a month. So that doesn't piss on that. He's gonna eventually have to say it. He just hasn't figured out how he's gonna market it yet. But eventually, he's gonna have to come around and, hey guys, if you guys are here right now, I need you guys to at least tip me $1. $1 a stream. Oh man, I can't wait to see that happen. We'll see how that goes over.
Oh my God!
what the fuck? Whoa! Whoa! Stairs, asshole. Don't lose.
Oh my God!
And he wonders why his fucking voice sounds like shit. He sounds like a walrus mating or some shit. God damn, it's horrible. Throwing out mating calls or something. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. He watches too much Animal Channel with Catherine. That's the problem. It's her fault.
Oh my God! Contributions are not mandatory. I forgot the key word there. Not mandatory. I'm happy to just have you guys come by and what a slip of tongue. I'm very, very happy to just have you guys come by and hang out with me on a daily basis. Seriously, like, to me it's amazing that for 11 years of my life I've been able to share gameplay experiences with people on the internet daily.
That's a rough recovery. As Snort Burnell had just said, though, basically, he's threatened YouTube, what, 2 or 3 times that if they don't come through and be supportive, at least to his Patreon, and to watch more of the videos, that he would have to stop putting videos on YouTube. And he's threatened Twitch that he would have to stream less, or the dreaded, I would actually have to go out and find a real job if you guys don't give me contributions, give me the money to keep going. So he's kind of already done this before, but yet again, it goes back to what I said before. He hasn't figured it out how to market it yet. He hasn't figured out how he's gonna roll it out to them yet. Eventually, that's what's going to come down to. Here, Phil, let me give you some free advice. What you should try to do is, and he should do this periodically, and then eventually it'll start to pick up, because it takes, what, 27, 28 days to establish a habit. He should try, and you have to try, Phil, you should try very, very hard to see what is the peak number of people that he has on stream at any given time, which, like I said, on the morning stream, it's what, between 4, on a good day, maybe 500, but between 300 and 400 people, 350, 400 people. And then at night, it's anywhere between 2 to 4. And he should try to maximize. He should basically say, okay, guys, there's 465 people here. Before the stream ends, I would really like for us to have that much money in contributions. Mainly in tips, but just in that much in contributions altogether. And he should do the same thing for the night stream too, and see how it works. Now, he shouldn't do that every day, because eventually that's going to break his ass, which is kind of the point. But what he should do, if he does it 2 or 3 times a week, at least twice a week, eventually he might be able to establish the habit, and people really start to pay attention and might actually do it. Now, granted, are 400 and 450, 460 people going to contribute to him? No. But some of these people who don't mind giving extra amounts would probably, who already donate 20, 30, 40 bucks, would probably actually donate maybe $100, $150 just so they can meet the quota. So even if he has 450 people up there, what it really does is it goes ahead and gets the big contributors or the people who have the extra money to do so strive to reach the goal. Now, most of you are probably thinking, well, come on, GTG, that's counterintuitive, because if that's the case, then they'll just sit back, and those who could give money, they won't, because they know the bigger guys are going to do it. Yes, but see, that's the beauty of it all. Now, Phil goes ahead and markets the, let me not say markets. He gives all of his admiration to just those people, and you cut everybody pretty much at the wayside. You don't say it. You just make sure that you praise those people, stream in, stream out. And then, for some of the jealous little piggies that will eventually come out, they go ahead and start trying to get their names into the hats too. You theoretically kind of see that already with the cheers list that he has. And if he wasn't a bitch and left the tip list up there, the top tippers or the top tippers of the week, tippers or cheers of the week, you could have the exact same thing. He basically, what I'm saying is, he could start an artificial tip war, if you will, amongst his own fan base. I'd said it in a roundabout way, but I might as well go ahead and put it all out there now, because Phil's going to get confused. If he does it that way, he could drum in more money, and he could do it consistently, at least 2 or 3 days a week, rather than expecting to get large amounts of money out of them every day. It like I said, it needs some fine tuning depending on how he wants to word it, but it's a way of doing it. But if anything like that ever comes up, you know where you heard it. DSP News.
And the past 2.5 years of my life have been so awesome to do it live and have these cool live interactions with all of you. I mean, I understand how lucky I am to have this to be my job. Okay, I do. And so, just the fact that you guys care enough to come hang out with me is damned awesome, and I love it. But that being said, I'm a realist as well. I got to make some money to pay the bills. So, if you can, please consider contributing in one of the following methods that I'm about to mention. Okay? Okay. Sorry for the slip of tongue there. Just a reminder, everyone. Just a reminder. All right? And this is me trying to appeal to you guys. I know a lot of people are very generous during the Minecraft streams. If you're going to be generous tonight, please tip me if you can. The reason being is, number one, there's 2 games I have to buy in the next week. Number 2, I have a big bill I have to pay by the end of the month. And number 3, all my bills come due in early September. So tipping me right now would help me a lot this next week. I did the math, and I have to raise...
And he has Cat's birthday, too. So don't let Geppetto, or Dark Geppetto, go ahead and, don't let him squirm on that, too. Cat's birthday is right there, and I'm sure she's going to want something nice, and she's probably going to want to go out and at least eat at a nice place. So keep that in mind.
Something like $400 in a week in order to not only buy the games but pay a couple bills by the end of the month. And I'm like, oh shit.
And he's going to make that anyway, so that doesn't even matter. He makes it sound like $400 a week is really strenuous for someone like him. He can pull that in a couple days. But as you see, Dark Geppetto is greedy. You see, he's greedy for those disability checks. He needs all of it to find sniff.
So, anything you contribute helps. Thank you very much. But tipping me right now would help me more than anything. Okay, guys. All right. What am I doing? Hey, number 1. Did you see that? Oh, why am I doing this? It's greed. It's greed. Greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control.
Now, the first cheer of the day came in from Freddie B getting hose. Freddie, I'm just gonna put Freddie B on the leaderboard. I hope you're okay with that. It's a 100-bit cheer. And Freddie says, Phil, Infinite said he will buy something for my store if you allow me to post the link for my store. Well, number 1, I don't know what your store is. And number 2, that would be solicitation on my stream, and if I let you do it, that means everyone else has to be able to do it too, which isn't very cool that everyone's going to start posting up ads on my stream, okay? What I would say is this. If anyone is interested in buying something from your
Now, I'm actually kind of glad that was brought up, because I'd like to say this. I talked about this before when what was her name? Bad Bunny. There we go. When Bad Bunny started to cash in on some of Phil's misfortunes, which is a regular occurrence, there are more and more people who, and I'm sure at the time that you guys will eventually hear this, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. There are more and more people who are looking at what Phil Burnell does, what DSP does, what Darkside Phil represents, and realize that if they could spin it in the right sort of way, you can profit off of Phil. And I don't mean like how SOK, for example, used to profit off him. I mean like you could really drum some big money off Phil if you could play the cards right. Now, one person who I remember throwing the gauntlet out on that, well before Bad Bunny did, because Bad Bunny kind of proves that you can do it, is especially since you don't need any association with the Detractor community or anything like that, is Boogie. Boogie months ago, I know someone remembers, LipJan remembers, or Spirit Avenged remembers, or Raven remembers, anybody on Twitter definitely remember this. When Boogie basically was like, hey, if you guys have issues with someone, attack me. I have the money to defend myself. Stop picking on Darkside Phil or some silly shit like that, and some tweet that I haven't seen. I can't even remember where to find it now. Boogie threw out the gauntlet, kinda, because he's a fence sitter. That hey, come after me if you guys are looking for someone to troll or whatever, and so on and so forth. And the reason why that is not because Boogie's doing that out of the goodness of his heart, because that'd be stupid. There's just not enough Mountain Dew out there for that. But because he realizes, as most people do, that the DSP community is profitable. I mean, there's real money to be made here. And Phil, despite what money he pulls in, there's so much more money that could be made. There's so much money that can be brought in. The question is, are you willing to deal with the bullshit to get it? And I guess for someone who isn't too familiar with the general communities around Phil, you don't know who's going to attack you and who's not. So I think that's kind of a feeling out process. But if you're willing to gauge it, and if you can actually make it happen, which, like I said, Bad Bunny kind of proves that you can do that, there's quite a bit of money to be made. Like I said, she was watching Detractor content on her channel, not every day, but she had it mixed up into her normal routine, and she made quite a bit of money. Now, granted, she ended up getting bullshit from the mods, and then that led into all kinds of nonsense, and then she got banned for a little while. That's pretty much unrelated, to be honest, but I'm sure someone over there in Phil's camp was trying to report her for dumb shit. So you kind of have to throw up your good with your bad, and you have to weigh out your variables. But there is money to be made, given if someone plays it out right. So think about it that way. When it comes to letting people advertise on your streams and so on and so forth, Phil is a walking billboard. It's just a matter of who decides to throw their advertisement on it. He just doesn't realize it.
Or contact him directly. Email him, tweet him, DM him, whatever it needs to be. But it would be pretty unfair to allow you to post up an advertisement to your stuff just because you cheered, and then other people can't do it. You see what I mean? It's kind of like the age-old rule.
Now, I personally think he did this complete and totally on purpose, for obvious reasons. It's just being an asshole. But then again, that also goes into another narrative I like to talk to you guys about briefly, is some of Phil's streams, where they seem to become more and more boring or mundane, if you will. And I think it's fair to say he's doing it on purpose. He purposely wants people to be discouraged from restreaming him. And if he feels the need to dumb down what is already a dummy run stream in the first place to make that happen, he'll do so. The problem is he can't recover. He's not going to recover from it the way he thinks he's going to. I'm sorry, Phil, you're just not that smart. But I think this right here is just another example of it. Doing egregious shit like this, burping it, lean-in burps and belches into the mic, lean-in snorts and all that extra shit. He's doing it on purpose because he wants to discourage people from messing with his content or rebroadcasting. But in actuality, he's only hurting himself at the end. And he's not smart enough to see it. Like, this is childlike behavior, if you will. And it's not going to get any better for him. And he don't see it because he's desperate. But I thought the detractors weren't a big deal. I thought the critics and the trolls and everything else weren't a big deal. But now we're resorting to preschool-like tactics. We'll see how it plays out.
Devour.
Oh! Benefactor.
Oh!
Where are we headed?
That is disgusting.
Okay, excuse me. I think I cleared it out. It's like the age-old rule. If you're gonna bring candy to school, you better bring enough for everyone. Because it's not fair if you only have it just for your friends and not for everybody else. Right? So, kind of the same thing. If I were to allow you to post an ad, then I have to allow everyone to post an ad. And that's not gonna fly if the whole stream is just people advertising stuff. Continuing on. Did everything correct. Did a 50-bit cheer. And says, when was the last time you woke up at 9 a.m.? The last time I woke up exactly at 9 a.m. on the dot, I couldn't tell you because that's not the time that my alarm is set for. Then he cheered again, and he said, before 9 a.m., I mean. Today and almost every day. Almost every single day, Jasper wakes up before 9 a.m. and wakes me up.
Get this cat off me. This stupid cat on my body. You fucking cat. God damn it. Stupid cat.
Some days it's earlier, some days it's later, it all depends. Some days it wakes me up at 6 a.m., some days it wakes me up at 7, sometimes it wakes me up at...
I feel like Jasper actually wakes up Catherine, not him. Because I'd assumed, you know, it's Catherine that actually cleans out his litter box, who actually feeds him, who actually, you know, takes care of him. I think Phil's just by proxy. So, I think that's what the real story is on that. Because it's funny how Phil says, "Oh yeah, Jasper wakes me up at such and such time," but he never goes into it and says, "Oh well, I had to feed Jasper, or I had to sit there and clean out his litter box, or I had to play with him, or anything like that." He never says any of those things. He just says, "Jasper woke me up at such and such time," but he never says what he does for Jasper though. Just something to think about.
8. Most of the time, he wakes me up around 8:30, and he wants me to get up right away because he's hungry or whatever. But some days he sleeps. Some days he sleeps right through, and I can sleep till like 9:15 if I feel like it. It all depends on really my schedule at this point depends on Jasper, and when Jasper wakes up and wakes us up. So, there's your answer. The last Rambo cheer. He said in Street Fighter V, why not choose a new character, do the lab trials, and then play online? Some people nominate certain games because they think that you may end up liking a game and then do a full playthrough of it. First of all, because I'm not spending any money on Street Fighter V and all the new characters you have to buy. So the answer there is I can't. I'm not spending any money on the game. So hint, hint, hint. So I'm not going to be able to have any new characters unlocked from the new season because I'm not spending any money on the game. So that's number one.
He didn't spend any money on the last characters either. Someone else bought him that season's pass. So just throwing it out there.
Number two, because each game in the Rageathon coming up this week will only get about an hour to an hour and a half dedicated to it. If I spend 30 to 40 minutes trying to learn a new character, you will get non-stop complaints. All you will get from the street.
I want an online play. We nominated this for online play. Where's the online play? Why is there no online play? Online play, online play, online play, play, all day with the online play. We want the rage and the rage with the online play. Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic.
And that's all you'll hear, the entire stream. So every moment that I spend trying to learn a new character and do something worthwhile in the game, all we'll get is complaints. So, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to jump right into the game. I'm going to select Ryu, who's the staple character, who I kind of remember his combo. It's crossover with medium kick, medium punch, crouching medium punch, fireball. That's all I remember. I don't really remember much about the game at all. I don't remember his crushing...
So we're just going to do dash up throw, and then spam fireball. That's it. That's horrible. That's fucking horrible. Oh my god. Ugh. And here's the thing. If it's supposed to be a Rageathon, right? It shouldn't matter who he plays, yeah? He should play any character he wants. He should play any character in general. And if he loses, he loses. It's supposed to be a Rageathon. But he's going to go straight try-hard mode and try to get as many wins as he can because he's a bitch. Wow. So we're not even going about being entertaining. It's about whatever he can to go ahead and supplement his little piggy ego.
I don't remember anything. So I'm just going to get bodied every match. I'm not going to give a shit because I don't care about the fucking game. I'm not going to rage because I don't care about the game.
You know that's not true. Like I said, he's going to try to go for every win possible. Every win possible, because every win he believes brings him closer and closer to people believing that he's actually good at Street Fighter, and not even the current Street Fighter, a Street Fighter that's like 20+ years old that no one cares about.
And then after an hour, I'll say, okay, that was enough. Let's move on. It's going to be a complete waste of time like I knew it would be, but people still keep nominating it as if they think I'm going to care about the game when I don't. People have these odd, really weird fantasy world misconceptions about what causes rage, I guess. So I guess we'll see. But the answer there is, I can't do it because all it would be doing is...
Yet again, this shows the kind of lack of self-awareness, because every fighting game he plays that he loses and whatnot, or he almost loses, he spazzes out on and comes up with all these different excuses. The internet, flowchart, guessing game, options, yada yada yada, anything he can to justify in his own mind why he lost, or why he almost lost, or why the game is bad, or why the game isn't super turbo, or whatever. It's just the same, it's the same repetitive shit with him. Horrible, just horrible.
constant complaints that I'm not playing online, so I'm just going to play online and waste time, I guess. Okay, Baba Booey tipped me $1 and says, I'm glad you revived your Instagram gallery with amazing Jasper photos, but I scroll down and see shady pictures from your past that you want to delete. As a married man, do it for your own good. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I have no shady pictures from my past on my fucking Instagram at all.
Lol.
Unless someone hacked my Instagram and put shit on there. My Instagram has been very, very, very wholesome over the years. There's nothing on there that's terrible. So, that sounds pretty stupid, but I thank you for the $1 tip regardless. Thank you, Baba Booey, for the $1 tip and the stupid comment. Dump sauce for kielbasa. Dump my Italian sauce for a Polish kielbasa. Took me $1. Says, I love it when you talk about fast food, but what happened to the car talks? You used to talk so passionately about your cars and everything about them. It's a good manly topic. This never happened. I never was a car guy. In my entire life, I've never been a car guy. I've said this many times, that I've never been into cars. I never really cared about cars. All my friends at one point in my life were into cars, and they were like, man, I gotta get this spoiler, I gotta get this fucking crazy exhaust system, I gotta get a sound system for my car, I gotta do this and that. And I was never into that at all. That was always not my thing. In fact, I always said, instead of putting money into your car, put it into anything else, because a car's a terrible investment, okay? So I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You know? And some people are like, well, you owned a BMW. No, I didn't. I leased a BMW. I didn't own it. And I didn't really...
And that was probably worse, meaning that he was paying $400+, plus he had an extravagant care package that he never used. You know what I mean? And since the guy's not in the cars, apparently, he doesn't know how to change his own oil, never checked his tires, never did any realignments, never did anything. And why would you say your car is a terrible investment when your car gets you to and from all the places that you want to go, but more importantly, all the places you need to go? Okay, that's some common sense logic there.
Talk that much about it. Maybe every once in a while someone would ask me a question about it, and I would talk about the features.
Now, granted, I understand what he's saying, all right? I know what he means, but at the same time, just general upkeep, which is that's what I was trying to lead into that statement. And he couldn't even do that, let alone customization.
The car or whatever. And then after I got rid of it, 2.5 years ago, I explained to you guys what a huge waste of money I felt it was, because the features in it that you would take advantage of, I didn't take advantage of. I didn't need those. And that's about it. Like, I'm not a car guy at all. I just really don't understand why you would even say this, because it's completely the opposite of the case. So,
Nihilistic Goldfish did a 488-bit cheer and said, here's my mandatory contribution. DSP Cult Leader. He's obviously sticking it to me for saying earlier accidentally that contributions were mandatory, which obviously was a slip of the tongue. It isn't, they are not. Alright, there you go. And let's see, Greasy Dream also did a 100-bit cheer and said, here is my mandatory contribution. Well, thank you very much, guys, for sticking it to me.
how dare you point out my human flaws, the fact that I am fallible and I make mistakes. How could you say that? How could you do this to me? How could you remove the mystique? How could you expose the man behind the curtain for being who he really is, a flawed human being? And that I would actually misspeak and everyone would have a good laugh on my expense. I mean, that's really funny, guys. No, really.
You know, I'm very sensitive to this stuff, and I can't take it, and, you know, I'll be emotionally hurt by this all day long because you guys had to really stick it to me on the pre-stream here today, guys.
Alright, anyway, let's continue. Hodor Targ cheered. He says, could you explain to me why you don't shave for your audience when your viewers are more important than a random cashier in Walmart? Your fans are not only virtual, but real people too, who would appreciate a nice clean shave, and it would bring more people to your streams. First of all, no one cares about me shaving on my streams. Number two, my webcam...
If that's the case, then why do we even have a face cam? That, like, you're like okay, this is one of the type of people who go to like a job interview with just like a shirt and some khakis or some shit. Here's the thing, like a t-shirt and like just some like cut off khakis or some shit. Here's the thing, you want to be presentable in everything that you do, when not only with the people who are already there, but the people who you want to draw in. If you want to come up on stream just to look like a bum, which is what he does look like, or look sickly, which is what he does look like, or anything else, that's how people are going to generally judge you. Before they even see the content or whatever it is that you're doing, they're judging you directly. This shit isn't anything new. This is how life works. So if you think people don't give a shit about your appearance, then why do we have, like I said, why do we have a face cam? We don't need it. It's not necessary. That's what it really comes down to. People are going to judge you by what you look like before you even say anything at times. And trust me, when he talks, there's plenty to judge. And it looks like you know how to conduct yourself as not only as an adult, but as a man. It looks like you know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? But yet he only wants to shave, like I said, twice a week or whenever it is, for Cat. Cat sees you looking bummy all day anyway. So let's think about this for a minute. He would shave for 12 people who probably don't even remember him anyway, when he goes to either Fred Meyer's, Trader Joe's, or whatever restaurant they go to, and Catherine. But he won't shave for the hundreds of people, and then later on, through multiple videos, the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who are going to watch him or get to see him. And he wonders why his reputation is the way it is. He wonders why people consider him as a joke. People look at gamers, at least some gamers anyway, as scumbags and as bottom dwellers and so on and so forth. When you have people who are 20 years his junior, right, who are pro gamers, who present themselves well. They look well, they speak well, they present themselves well. Because what he says, what he's doing, right, is part of his business. But yet he's not conducting business. He's a bum. He's a modern day panhandler. He looks the part, he acts the part, and that's it. Nothing else. Yet again, we got a grown-ass man who wants to do what is comfortable for him and not looking at the bigger picture. And he wonders why he continues to fail. DSP News.
Isn't high enough resolution for you to care about me shaving on my streams. Number 3, the real reason I shave is because I like to look nice for my wife the day that we go out. And if we're going to go out, I'd like to be presentable for her. Since we will be going out on the town, you know, she does the same thing. She puts on nice makeup and we go out and we look nice on our day out to do stuff together, okay? It's a nice thing to do, to go out on the town with your loved one, your significant other, and actually put some actual effort into it, all right? The gameplay streams are gameplay streams. I sit here and I hang out with you guys and talk and we play games. Last time I checked, it really doesn't affect anything when you're shaving when you play a game. You know, no one gives a shit but you, apparently, because no one else gives a shit. Seriously. Now, I've already explained as well, I have very sensitive skin, alright? And the most I can shave in a single week is twice. If I shave more than twice a week, my face actually gets, like, really irritated and swollen. The skin will get, like, very sensitive and messed up. And so, even when I had an awful...
Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. Now, there are shaving ointments and aftershave, and there's other ways that you can... There's other, like, face products that you can use that can help relieve some of that. And over time, it'll get better and better and better. First thing. Second thing is, if his face gets irritated, if things kind of break out, if all that silly shit happens, think about what he said previous. I mean, it's not like, you know, he's the easiest person to be looking at in the first place, but whatever. Think about what he just said. No one is going to care anyway, because look at the resolution of his webcam and so on and so forth. So why do we need the webcam? But secondly, if his face don't look the greatest because of shaving, because of irritation, I should say, who cares? That doesn't affect the streamer, or that doesn't affect the audience, because, as you said, your webcam is already garbage. So who cares at all about what your face looks like given the circumstances? Yet again, why have the webcam? He's giving you reasons why he really shouldn't have it, but yet he won't get rid of it. He won't do away with it. He just has it there because he thinks other streamers do that. When you have more and more streamers who are considering or who are turning over to not having webcams anymore because they want the focus to be on the game. I don't know, something to think about. Like I said, it's just, you know, it is what it is. And he only goes out once a week anyway, so what's he need to shave twice for?
Job. I would only shave twice a week. And they would ask me why, and I would explain. They said, that's a valid explanation. We'd rather see you have a little bit of hair on your face half the week than come in with a giant, painful, swollen face every day and not be able to do your work.
But who cares, though, because no one else is going to see it. And if it's a discomfort for... let me reword that. If it's uncomfortable for him, so what? Have you ever seen him play games? It's uncomfortable for everybody involved. He doesn't like the games, and he's trying very hard to fake it and act like he does. The people in the web chat are bored, so they talk amongst themselves, which apparently is a no-no over there. If you don't have 24-hour focus on Phil, you're being a fucking detractor at that point. Who gives a shit about his own personal comfort? To be honest with you, he can't convey to you that a game's going to be good or not anyway. He can't add anything to it from an entertainment standpoint, let alone anything informative about the game itself as it pertains to its lore or anything like that. All he can, and the only time he looks up anything on a game is if he's looking for ways of beating levels. To be handheld, basically, when the chat lets him down. What inherited value is there outside of anything when you think about it? So who cares who cares what his comfort level's like? I'll say he better go ahead and get like a hot towel and fucking work it out like that, like everybody else do.
That's that, okay? So, that's why I don't shave every day, alright? I don't feel the need to, and I don't think that it affects anything. You're the only person who's ever complained.
And that's one of the reasons why, too, I think that he has a hard time getting sponsorship. He doesn't look the part. He don't look like someone that you want to sponsor. You really don't. Like, even if he had some charisma, maybe, but still you want someone who looks the part. He can't even do that. And no one's telling him he has to do a complete and total facial shave. Just, you know what I'm saying, tighten that shit up. You know what I mean? Clean up some of the spots. Make it, you know what I'm saying, make it look presentable. Make it look good. And he can't do that. Or he won't.
Sin of Spear says, stop stalling. Well, Sin of Spear, I'm not stalling. I'm just telling you exactly what's about to happen. But now, because you brought it up and said, stop stalling, I'm now going to respond to what you said. And you'll probably say that this is somehow stalling, even though in reality, all I'm doing is responding to your message. Mr. Tick Tick says, why do you buy water bottles? You must be spending a lot of money on water every week. No. A 32-pack of waters costs $3. I'm not kidding. It's very, very, very cheap. And this water is cleaner and tastes better than tap water. Joe Splamoni, completely false. He tipped me $1 and said, I hate to break it to you, but all the troll channels give you free publicity that is crucial to your success, and without the detractor attention, you would be long gone. Wrong. If the detractors never existed, meaning if back in the day, if those videos, like This Is How You Don't Play, didn't completely slander me, I would actually still have mainstream following on YouTube.
Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone, just gone like that. In an instant, fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. I eBay. Contributions are mandatory, but I need your help. I am a...
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. As it pertains to his last point, he was in a decline anyway. He was always going to be in a decline. It's just kind of what happens, to be perfectly honest with you. So he wouldn't have mainstream relevance if he didn't have detractors. Because eventually he's always going to have detractors. He's just one of those individuals who he's going to have people that are going to call him out on his bullshit. But he was in a decline anyway. He didn't want to change the way things needed to be done. He didn't want to upgrade stuff like he was supposed to. He didn't want to participate in the trends that would allow him to be successful. He wasn't willing to do these things. And if you're not willing to do those things, and if you want to fall behind, or if you want to think you're some special fucking snowflake, then you get what you get. And that's what happened to him. What happened to Phil isn't... whatever it was that happened to Phil, Darkside Phil, DSP, whatever, it wasn't just one thing. It was a bunch of things. He didn't lose popularity overnight. Okay? It was a gradual process that happened over years. And he had plenty of times and plenty of opportunities to fix it. And he chose not to. Because he thought he was the man. and he thought there was enough people on his side that could outweigh anything else that people had said about him, because they did it before, that it wouldn't matter. And he thought wrong. He gambled on the wrong lottery ticket, on the wrong slot machine, on the wrong blackjack table, because I don't see him playing craps. He gambled and he lost. That's what happened. That's the reality. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the next video. See you guys in just a second.
This is how to play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone, warning, what you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, that's... sounds good to me.
You might be saying, okay.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the last video of our broadcast. Excuse me. Snort Burnell, DSP. September monthly goals, and I don't speak to just one person. Here we go.
James, what's the sub goal going to be for the month of September? Well, this is a no-brainer. This is actually an easy one. The month of September, the sub goal is going to be Halloween event. You guys remember this? I do this every year. I do a special Halloween marathon. We have a lot of fun usually doing it. I really enjoy doing it because it's so interesting and fun. And this year should be no different. I think this year, you know, it should be a good variety of horror-themed games. I'm sure you guys are going to nominate for it. And, you know, choosing what kind of Halloween costume I wear is always a fun pastime, too, which we do, okay? So, that's going to be starting planning, you know...
That's just going to be shitty as hell. Ladies and gentlemen, one, he's going to... I'm going to put it out there now, because this is always the fun part. He's going to have to fight off, in some way, it'll be subtle, I think, a lot of the questions and pokes from last year. He's going to have to contend with that this year. That's the first thing. Second thing, as it pertains to the costume, as you guys may or may not have remembered, I think the theme last year was retro, so I think he went with the Bob Ross situation. He might go ahead and recycle it and do it this year. We'll see. If I had to guess, he has tried to convince Catherine to come back on to see if, you know, they can kind of redeem themselves, if you will, a redemption run of the Halloween horror movie marathon or video game marathon, whatever. I would assume he's going to try to go for that. If she shows back up, I'd be surprised, but I doubt it. He completely screwed the pooch last year. He is not Tevin's fault. It was his fault. He completely messed all that up. That could have been a good thing. They alternate. Him and Catherine alternate between what games are being played. They alternate who's in front of the laptop. You know what I'm saying? Interacting with the streamer, with the stream itself. That could have been a nice little lick before Catherine went to the Christmas party that she ended up going to. And he fucked it all up because he's an idiot and he's self-centered and he wanted everything to be about him. And he let that girl sit on that couch for what, 3.5 hours doing nothing, bored out of her goddamn mind. Because he was so goddamn smart. So that's what happened. That's what the situation is. That's how it really played itself out. He played himself. I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. He played himself. And he'll never live it down because he knows he messed up. He knows he screwed up. And like I said, this year would be a good year to redemption run it if he can. But he can't. Like I said, and if Catherine is smart, she holds all the cards now. So she can dictate all the terms that she wants until she's ready to come back on to his next stream, whether it's the Halloween horror, whatever, the Halloween stream or whatever the hell it is. She literally holds all the cards because Phil needs that. When you look at some of the couples on Twitch, for example, usually there are what you would call some power couples on Twitch who they're just two people who they work well with each other. You know what I'm saying? They've brought it together from a streaming standpoint, and money is there to be made. Phil wants that. The problem is that Catherine, at least as far as we know right now, has fucking a personality with the consistency of like of dough, and Phil is unentertaining. They don't play off of each other well, so they should be two people that go in there with a focus. Okay, you'll play the first game for a little while. I'll go ahead and throw some stuff at the stream chat, and then we alternate. You do it that way, it's a real good system. As time goes on, it can develop into something else, but that right there is where the system comes into play. Phil didn't want to do that. He wanted to sit there and do this dumbass one-man band type bullshit and just put her there as a trophy, if you will, and completely screw the pooch and completely wasted her time. And then had the nerve to come back and blame the black guy when everything goes south. Because who else was he going to blame? Right? Fucking ridiculous.
Depending on how things go in September, if we hit the sub goal for September, what'll happen is you guys will be able to, number one, nominate and vote on games for me to play horror-themed games during that month, okay? And number two, you'll be able to pick what kind of Halloween costume I'm gonna wear for the month. Alright, which is neat because it's by category. This is how I did it last year. I did it by category. And so it'll be like, oh, do I dress up like a celebrity? Do I dress up like a video game character? Do I dress up like a, comic book superhero or a movie character? That kind of stuff. And you guys get to pick that. So that's cool, right? Plus, being able to nominate and vote on horror-themed games for the event is also a really fun thing. So that's going to be fun. The month of September, if we hit a sub goal, you guys get 2 special rewards. Not only do you get to vote on the kind of costume I wear for the Halloween event, but also you get to pick the games that I'll be playing. All right?
Wow.
In reality, the gratuitous plug segment happens because it's a necessary evil. By me being able to plug stuff, allows me to make money so I can actually run a stream. It's pretty practical. All right. So anyway,
Give me your money.
pragmatic tactician asked the following: define leadership. Can someone give me a sub if they don't mind? I'll give you a pragmatic shout out as well. Well, I can't help you with that. However, leadership means something different depending on who you ask, and that's just the truth. Is that it could be something completely different for everybody. Leadership, in some cases, could mean simply a boss that tells you what to do when you're at work. Leadership could be someone who has experience and leads you on to success in some kind of an endeavor by using said experience. Leadership could just be someone who leads by example. They don't tell you to do anything, they just do something, and you see them doing it, and you're like, man, I want to be like that, and then you end up, basing your actions or basing your, the way you behave off of the way that they behave, right?
DSP cult leader.
If that's the case, that's just someone copying someone else because they're successful. If that's the case, Phil, do you consider someone like PewDiePie as successful? Or no, as a leader? As a leader of the gaming community. Because there are plenty of people who have, I don't want to come out and say they out and out copied PewDiePie, but they emulated him and then made it their own. So does that make PewDiePie a leader? Now, back to to his first point about a manager. It tells you what to do. Telling you what to do doesn't make them a leader. A leader is someone who not only directs you on what to do, right? But also can show you how to do it better. And then helps you branch out into other things. Middle management is just someone who tells you, hey, do this and make sure it's done at such and such time, and then bounces out. That's how some managers are conducted in most ways. A team leader is something a little bit different. But that's neither here nor there, and like I said, he is correct. That depends on the person. As it pertains to the emulation thing, you see someone do something and then you do it because you want to be successful like them. There's plenty of people on YouTube he could have emulated, or he could have watched and imitated, and he chose not to. Or he did, and he saw that it was too much work and it wasn't worth it, or at least he thought it wasn't. He thought they were going to fade out. And no, sadly but surely, he's the only one who's actually fading out. Just because Phil is still around doesn't mean he isn't dead, or it doesn't mean he's not dying. When you have a channel that has 160 to 180,000 subs, and you can barely pull 1,000 views, that's a problem. That's a very, very big problem. When you have videos that have been up for weeks and haven't even hit 3,000, that's a problem. That's a very, very big problem. And he can sit there and hide behind the fact that, oh, it's an archive. Then if it's an archive, then shut the hell up about ad revenue. Something to think about.
means something different for everyone. And it also depends on the situation, because there's leaders in combat, there's leaders at work, there's leaders just in an industry, you know? So the question's too general to just have some kind of a blanket answer. But it's simply not an easy one, because it really does depend on many factors. And again, it's something. But
it's not meant to have a blanket answer. It's really just give him your opinion on what are the qualifications to be a leader. No answer you've ever given in your life, Phil, has ever been the clear-cut answer over all situations and all circumstances. No one has that. And yet he always tries to grab that one answer because he wants it, because he's so desperate to want it to be the right answer. And that's how he gets called out a lot, especially on his lies, because he's trying so hard to find the right answer that's undisputed. And it doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. If he's 37 and he ain't figured that out yet, he won't figure that out at 57 either.
Those questions, it's a different answer for everyone, because everyone can see leadership as something completely different. See what I mean? Okay, good question. Moving on, Pragmatic Tactician actually did a cheer at the very beginning of the stream for 50 bits, so let's get him up on the leaderboard as the first cheer of the day. He says, do you feel like people blame you for things people blame you... Wait a minute. Do you think people blame you for things people blame you for events that you have... What the hell? And then it scrolled off the screen when I was reading it, too. Let's try this again. Do you think people blame you for things people blame you for events that you have little to no control over? I've dealt with it a lot, and I have to shake it off, I guess. I think that I receive blame for many things. Some of them are my fault, and some of them aren't. Yeah, I'm a flawed human, and I make mistakes, and absolutely in my life I've done things that could be considered wrong, messed up, erroneous, irresponsible. I'm certainly not going to be a person who's going to front and lie and be like, oh no, I'm definitely above any kind of, I'm above any kind of criticism, of course. As you know, I'm a perfect human being. Yeah, fucking right? No, absolutely not.
I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. I make mistakes. I'm a fallible human. But most of the things that happen to me, I didn't do anything wrong. What did I do wrong? Nothing. Zero.
But at the same time, I definitely take flack for shit all the fucking time that there's, I didn't do at all.
I'm good at lying.
Or there's not much I can do about. And I don't want to go into massive detail about it. I just don't.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait a second. Either stuff that I didn't do wrong, or stuff that, or stuff that I can't do nothing about. Okay. First things first. The majority of things, to be honest, that Phil gets accused of, he did do it. The majority of things that he said, or that he has put it on Twitter or in his chats or all that, it's archived. It's archived somewhere. Somebody has it. It's on Kiwi Farms. It's on Encyclopedia Dramatica. It's on Lolcow Wiki. It's on Twitter somewhere in the archives. If you're willing to look for it, you can find it. It's on SRK. It's all over the place. There are very few things that people blame Phil for that you can out and out say, or he can out and out say, or anybody really can out and out say that never happened. Okay? That's how that worked. If Phil doesn't remember it, he automatically assumes it's not going to happen. And this is what he thinks is his veil. I'm going to call it a veil, because he's a bitch. Not to say that everybody who wears a veil is a bitch, but you know what I mean. I'm going to say that's what he thinks is his veil of safety, of supremacy. That makes him a bitch. Is that he has so much material out there. He said so much dumb shit year in, year out, for over a decade, that he doesn't expect you to go find it. He doesn't think you can find it. That's why he deletes videos off of his channel periodically. I'm wondering on why Panda's channel ended up getting nuked all of a sudden. It's the reason why stories that he says shift every year, every couple months, to be honest. These are some of the problems with Darkside Phil, and he's not man enough to admit it. Am I saying that every little thing that he did, he should get smacked for? Not necessarily. If he would just come out and admit that he did it. If he admitted that he did it, then it can't hurt you. You've already admitted that you did it. The thing is with the whole spanking off on stream is he did do it, and he actively tried to take those videos down, and then he tried to profit off of it, and then he tried to downplay it, and he did all this extra shit instead of just accepting it. That's why he still gets pissed off at it. With John and Howard, you fucked your friends over. Period. Just admit it. Yeah, you're still going to take shit for it. It's always going to hang over your head, but just admit it and move on. Just ignore it. He says that's what he tries to do with Detractor content, or that's what he's going to do. He's just going to ignore it. But we hear that sob story every 6 months anyway, and it never works. A lot of the reasons reasoning on why this stuff ends up bothering him so much is because he lets it bother him. Yeah, that shit gets drilled at him every single day. It will. He's just going to have to accept that. But that's, yet again, that's on him. A lot of the peace that he's looking for, it flows back onto him. Let shit go. Admit that you did it and move the fuck on. But he don't want to do that. He want to give you a story. He wants to give you reasoning. He wants to give you this, that, and the third so he can come out looking clean on it. Well, if you're going to be a bitch and try to fight something that you plainly did wrong, then you're going to just take the hit. And that's what it comes down to. He can try to, or he's just going to act like it never happened, and then when people bring it up, you get banned. Or you get ridiculed and then you get banned. Just like that whole War Dogs situation. He almost tried to recently, well not recently, but in the last couple months, to play it off that didn't happen. That was misunderstood. This, that, and the third. He tried to pull that bullshit. And that's why that shit's always going to hang over his head. If you want to act like a child, you'll be treated like one. And he's never figured that out. It is what it is.
But a lot of people tend to blame me for things, or say that I do things that I didn't do, or just make stuff up to create drama. And, you know, that could be a pretty disheartening thing when, you're not even doing anything, right? Or you're not intending for something to turn out a way that it does.
Putting that out on Twitter is going to cause trouble. I know that logically in this head. I know.
Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this bullshit came out around that Better Health situation. Nice time to go ahead and... That was a real nice opportunity to go ahead and pull this shit out, huh? But anyway, go ahead and let's hear the pig's reasoning.
Stupid. But I did it anyway. And it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake that I put that on fucking Twitter. No, sir, it wasn't. That was my depression.
And
he keeps doing it. So I guess it must be his depression at between 2 and 4 o'clock every night. Or every morning, I should say. And the gin. Gotta... So it's always the gin. The Tanqueray is never far away, ladies and gentlemen.
Immediately, people have to turn it into something disgusting or negative, and say that you're doing something that you're not. It's just fucked up, But in my case, a lot of people are always constantly just looking to make me look bad, no matter what it is that I'm saying or doing. They just want me to be the villain, and it could be a pretty messed up situation in a lot of cases. And it could be a dangerous situation. If people start to believe some of the crazy stuff that's said out there about me and think that it's factual, it can end up being very dangerous, because then you get people who don't like me or hate me for various reasons, and it's for stuff that's not even true. Okay.
And what about the stuff that people, if you want to go off his narrative, what about the stuff that people can prove and that is out there that people do see on the regular? What about that? He never talks about that. What about the stuff that that is already out there on you, that you do admit for doing wrong, and people judge you on? Never have anything to say about that. Never have a lick of anything to say about those circumstances. Seems kind of hypocritical, though. He's so worried about people finding stuff out on him, right? Or the stuff that he believes, because he don't remember it or he don't want to remember it, being fabricated or bullshit. What about the stuff that you did do? Think about it, all the lists of things that he said that is not true. 10 things maybe. I mean, in his head it's probably 10,000 things, but 10 things, maybe 15 things. What about the literally thousands of things that he's done wrong or he said stupidly about shit? Thousands. You think there are this many Detractor videos out on him and whatnot over nothing? Over absolutely nothing? And the biggest thing he can have under his belt is the Escort Saga, which most people thought out and out was fabricated anyway. But it was entertaining, so people ran with it. People still talked about it. People still reported on it. People still did whatever because it was entertaining. That's what it was. It was entertaining. And it brought him It brought him a pretty good amount of publicity. To be honest, he was able to profit off of that pretty well. The thing is that the reason why he's really pissed off at it is he had to reveal Catherine. He had to reveal Catherine out of that whole situation. He didn't want to have to play that card yet. That's kind of like that Jasper situation. Oh, I didn't want to play that card yet. We wanted to wait until we thought it was the right time and it could be profitable. You know, when we were comfortable for it. All code for being profitable. That's why he really don't like the escort situation. Because he had to reveal his cards on Catherine. Didn't like that.
But I'm not going to go into details about it and start outlining stuff. You know, we've already gone long enough on the pre-stream. But the answer is yes. Excuse me. Sour Patchy cheer. Said, have you ever considered putting pre-streams in the just chatting category? New people who come by might expect gameplay and may be misled. No, because no one cares but you. No one cares except the trolls who just complain that I talk too much on pre-stream. Normal people don't give a shit what the stream title is at all, and never will. They come by to hang out and have fun, and that's all they care about. They don't give a shit if the title says one game or another game or whatever. No one cares. Okay? Just being honest. Nobody gives a fuck. Okay, continuing on. Could be Bureau did a 100-bit cheer, and he says, have you ever considered selling jars of your hair water for $30 a pop?
That's disgusting. Oh my god. Ah!
Also, here's my mandatory contribution. So he's making a joke, because I misspoke, I believe it was yesterday, and said contributions are mandatory. Though, that was a boneheaded thing to say. Acts by accident. But he's making a joke. Har, har, har. Yes, actually. Not only do I sell my dirty, disgusting hair water, but I also sell farts in a can. I sell all kinds of stuff. I am a master salesman. If you weren't aware, you know, anything that could possibly be sold, I sell. My pillows that I sit on my couch here.
He does peddle a lot of garbage. I mean, no one can deny that.
I love. See, I fill them with gas farts, and I sell those too. You'd be surprised. Apparently, my gaseous butt has medicinal properties. Oh my god, I don't know what's going on.
I'm a joke. You know, I don't do anything productive. I'm a negative, toxic guy. And everything about me is just laugh jokes, right?
Continuing on with shoutouts, Handicap Gaming ER cheered again. He said, he filled you wear the same chanclotas as I do. They're big and brown. Yes. I actually purposely wear the same ones as you. What it is I use Google Maps to use the satellite imagery of your house and see what it is that you're actually wearing on your feet. And then I went and I bought similar ones. And that's what I wear around my house. Okay? That's it. That's what I wear. I'm being serious. You guys don't believe me? Big Sloppy Me. Oh, wow, he's back. He just cheered. He said, you worry about long-term impacts on your health from only talking to one person for days on end? I talk to all of you all day. What the fuck are you talking about? That's one of the stupidest statements I think I've ever heard in my life. My job is to sit on stream and talk to people all day long while playing video games, and you just said I only talk to one person all day long. That was really stupid.
It kind of is, though. I mean, I guess we can kind of branch out on this depending on how you feel, but like, I feel like the overall, right, is you sitting in front of someone or standing in front of someone and you're actually talking to them, you're actually interacting with them, you're actually seeing their body posture, you're catching like certain types of body motions and some of their more social cues and so on and so forth. He doesn't get that. And that's something that just amongst human interaction we all crave in some way, shape, or form. And he's purposely deprived himself of this because he's scared, which is sad, kind of hilarious at times, but certainly sad. And you think talking to a bunch of faceless people online is enough compensation for that? Did you think that's what was supposed to keep Catherine in line, or that was going to keep Catherine complacent about the situation? Eventually, Catherine's is going to demand to go ahead and start streaming again. And he can give whatever little bullshit he want to give, but eventually that's going to happen. He's not going to have too much to say about that. You know what I mean? Because his excuse for why they can't stream off the same line was dumb already. It was really stupid anyway. So eventually that's going to happen. But what it is that he's scared of everybody. He's absolutely scared of everybody. And he's kind of always been that way. He's always been that way, keeping everybody at like arm's length or, You know what I'm saying? Only giving you guys the facade, the persona of Darkside Phil, and nothing else, because he knows he can't live up to it. I mean, granted, it's not like there's much to live up to in the first place, but he can't live up to what he puts out there every day. Look at him. Look at how he acts. Look at his constant failure day in, day out. You know what I mean? Look at that hot take that you see at the end of Tevin's streams, praise be, where you see Phil take off his mic or his headphones, and he just sits there with his with that string bean arm over his fat head, and he's just looking at the chat. And people had surmised that he'd been doing that before we actually caught him doing it. People always surmise that when he goes on break, like his little break to use the bathroom, he's really just sitting there staring at the chat. He just wants to see what people are saying about him when he's not there. He was doing the same thing, if I had to surmise, when Kekken and Brian used to do the Apex Legends streams with him on Sundays. When he used to say, oh, I'm going to take a 20-minute break, I'm going to run to the bathroom or whatever. He was doing the same thing then, too. That's how patched in he is to all this nonsense. And it's not healthy. And he just hasn't realized it. That's why he gets so defensive so quickly. But what else is he going to do? Yeah, you talk to them on your streams. You talk to them on the phone? Obviously, we're not going to do any fan meetups, so we can cut that off. Have you talked to any of these people on Discord, Skype, or anything else outside of behind the scenes in a private room on Twitch? Or maybe in your DMs on Twitter? Not really. So you're not getting any other human interaction outside of these people here, and they're not even human interaction. You're just kind of talking to a bunch of people. And you're not even talking to them. You're kind of just responding to either A, are you getting help on a game? B, are they giving you money? Or C, you're looking for a lean-in manual ban because you're frustrated. Which is something that he does rather frequently, which is rather hilarious.
Said, man, that was incredibly stupid. I'm just saying. Not trying to insult you, but that was really stupid.
Oh, you're gonna get salt. It's, even now, again, my mouth overpowered with salt flavor.
Like, for some reason, you apparently think that speaking to someone over the internet isn't valid or something, right? Okay. Anyway, let's continue.
Not all the time. Like, you can't do that every day and say you're talking to people. Like, really talking to people. I don't know. Like I said, I guess it depends. And then there's that bottle crunch, which is a meme that he tried to profit off of. It's fucking sad.
Vince, that's a bottle crunch, by the way. Rural-ass Wyoming loser has tipped me $1 and says, if you have a bachelor's degree, you can't find a high-paying job with it. Does that mean I'm wasting my time going to college? Everyone told me growing up a bachelor's is the key to making big money in the 21st century job market. That is a lie. A bachelor's degree is the first step. The very first step in possibly finding a good job. But it's very much just the first step. In this modern job market, not only do you need to have the bachelor's degree, you also need to have connections, meaning you need to know people in the industry to try to get your foot in the door of a good job. You need to have experience, meaning you probably need to try to do like an internship if you can, while you're going to university. A lot of the times those are unpaid, which is why I couldn't do one during my time at university, because I had to work a job pretty much full-time while I was going to school in order to pay for school.
Now, keep in mind, his parents actually paid for school. He's admitted this. So what was he really doing that he couldn't actually do internship?
That was just my situation.
I'm not saying he didn't have a job. I'm just saying that he's admitted that his parents helped him with school, which means, i.e., they paid for it.
Seemed to be in rich families who could pay their way through college. I was working my butt off. But yeah, I'm certainly not saying the bachelor's degree is a bad thing, and I'm certainly not saying the bachelor's degree is, a lie.
You don't actually have to get a bachelor's degree either. You can get certified in certain fields, actually in a lot of fields now. You can get just certifications and then go right into whatever your field of choice is, depending on what you want to do. You can go to a tech school, for example. There's options outside of college. Now, as for getting a bachelor's degree, yes, it's to start you off, and then you get into a company, and a lot of companies actually will pay for you to go back to school and to further your education, which is, if you get a chance to, you take advantage of that. Connections help, but you don't need it. It's not mandatory. You know what I mean? It's not mandatory at all. Is there a lot of people that I went to school with who I hooked them up? Yeah, but it's not necessary. You know what I mean? They worked at other companies before they came to ours. it is what it is. It's helpful to have it, but it's not necessary. Now, it's funny how Phil had all these friends, and he was such a social butterfly. Sorry about that. And he was such a social butterfly, and no one could give him a look. It's amazing how that was a thing. And like I said, internship, that depends on your circumstances. Do I think if you have an opportunity to get into internship, you should take it? Absolutely. Because experience takes you further than even just the hookup. You know what I'm saying? Even just, because it's a recommendation plus experience. You know what I'm saying? It carries the day. And if you have to make time for it, you make time for it. He makes it sound like, oh, I had to put in 50 hours a week at this internship to make it happen. I just don't think that's how it worked. Or he went and looked at one internship position, maybe two, and either it wasn't the money that he thought that he wanted, or they were like, it's more volunteer, so you kind of come in when you can, and, you know, we'll give you the ropes. And he wasn't down with that either, so he just abandoned it. We'll never know, We'll never know because the dude lies about every little thing. Every little thing. We'll never know for sure. But there's more to it than that. There's way more to it. And then more importantly, you have to understand that this idiot right here is like 15 plus years removed, if not longer. So how much of what he says is even relevant to any of you anyway? Dspnews.
A bachelor's degree will obviously get you so far, but it's not going to get you into those high-paying career jobs. At least in many industries today, you need to get additional schooling, some kind of a master's degree or a specialized degree. You know, what if you want to go to school for law or something? You know, doctor. That's very different, and, you know, that's a lot more that you have to put into it. So, just to forewarn you, all right? There's a lot more to it a lot of times, okay? Sour Patchy cheered, and he says, I think you need a Snickers today. You seem kind of on edge. I do? I feel like I'm kind of the normal Phil. I don't feel on edge at all.
Yep, I'm toxic.
In fact, I'm feeling kind of good. We got a GTA stream in a minute here, and then we've got Street Fighter tonight, and I finally get a day off tomorrow, which is nice. Not to say that I don't love being here with you guys every day, but definitely breaking it up is needed, especially being able to spend time with my wife after all week of not being able to really do anything together. It's much appreciated, so.
Oops, oh! Well, pretty similar to my single-player campaign. The horse is dead. My horse is dead. My horse died. My wife left me.
Thank you, Guitar Punk Mayo, for the $1 tip. And he says, you was the one who said we don't count as people, stupid. Don't shave for you, moron. Huh? Let me try this again. You was the one who said that we don't count as people, stupid. That's why you don't shave for you, moron. Thank you for the $1 tip, Guitar Punk Mayo. Much appreciated. Let's move on.
Cliffy Biro did a 101-bit cheer and says, how much do I have to cheer to sniff your unwashed cowboy hat?
Oh! Benefit.
Oh!
And, where are we headed?
That is disgusting. Disturbing and disgusting.
Well, first of all, you can't wash a cowboy hat. Do you really think if you throw a cowboy hat into, like, a washer, it's not going to disintegrate? That's probably not gonna, not a good idea. How much? Well...
Whoa. So, Phil's had this hat for, I don't even know how long. He's had it for a long-ass time. And he's never washed that hat. Now, when I mean by wash that hat, or he's never cleaned that hat, if you will, can you put it in a washing machine or anything like that? Probably wouldn't. Dry cleaner? Maybe. But the most common sense thing that comes to my mind is you would have it hand washed. And I'm sure there's YouTube videos, Google. There's a bunch of ways of doing that. Matter of fact, give me just a second. Okay.
No matter the occasion. Now, the best way to clean your hat is to use a sponge or brush. Hat sponges come two to a package, one for light colored hats and one for dark. You don't want to use the same sponge for both, as fibers can be exchanged as color in the hats. Using a dry sponge or brush, start from the crown, move in a counterclockwise motion. When the hats are made, fibers are pressed in a clockwise direction. Brushing counterclockwise brushes the dirt out of the fibers that end them and brings up a new layer of felt. Now, once you're finished with the crown, start on the brim. Again, starting from the crown, you brush outwards. in a counterclockwise motion. Felt hats clean up better than wool, which tends to hold dust and debris in the fibers of the wool. This, along with other properties like their ability to hold a shape, makes a felt hat higher quality and thus more expensive. If you just want to buy something to beat up and kick around in at the rodeo though, wool hat ought to work just fine. If you need to, you can use hat cleaner. First, spray it in a hidden spot, such as...
Okay, that's enough. I think I just want to give you guys the basis. So, that was literally, what? 5 seconds on Google. Brought me right to a YouTube video. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So we've had this hat, right? We meaning Phil, because, you know, when Phil talks, he's speaking for everybody, not just himself. We've had this hat since he was back at the condo. You know what I'm saying? He ended up getting that during his tournament days. So we're talking about something he may have had for, let's say, 8 or 9 years. And he's never washed that hat once. And if you've seen some of those early Axe the Kings, he's sweating like a roasted hog. So who knows what kind of dirt, debris, dust, obviously his hair loss, dandruff, and then God knows whatever else is in that hat that he was putting in, day out. And he used to sweat like a pig a little bit when he did the Axe the Kings in Washington. Oh, that hat's that hat must be that's something nasty. And he never thought about washing it once, or never thought about cleaning it, I should say. Can't wash it, but you can clean it. Never thought about it once. Could have had Panda do it. Could have Catherine do it. Nah, I'm not doing any of that. Oh, but then again, the same person who don't take a bath every day either, yet complains about how hot it is in his office and how much he sweats. So, go figure.
First of all, you can't come visit me. It's not allowed. I don't have public visitors here for my viewing audience. So I guess the best way for you to get the cowboy hat would be eventually I'm probably going to pass away. And when I pass away, possibly my belongings would go at public auction maybe. Depending on what happens. I mean, Cat will... Depending on, you know, the situation, I'm assuming Cat's going to outlive me.
Oh my God!
And so Cat at some point will probably decide what to do with some of my belongings. Why are we talking about this? Why are we taking this question so seriously? I just realized I'm taking this question like so fucking...
Well, since you're already talking about the what is the inevitability of your mortality, yeah, she's gonna sell all your shit off, and and trust me, she's gonna fetch quite a bit of money for it. So I'm glad you've come to that realization, Phil.
Serious, dude. What is going on? Why am I doing that? Here, I'll give you the answer you were looking for. $1 million. For $1 million, you can sniff my hat. There you go. What the fuck? I took the question so seriously for some reason. Dude, I was like thinking, logically, how could someone get my cowboy hat? Well, I'm not going to sell it while I'm alive, so I'd have to pass away.
Now, that's another thing, too. Interesting fact. Since Phil is a hoarder, you have all this stuff that he considers junk that doesn't have any real value to him, but he doesn't want to sell none of it because he doesn't want to give any of it up because all that shit's tied to memories, sentimental value, and probably more often than not, he doesn't want it to fall in the hands of a detractor for whatever reason. And that he can't rip people off and get the maximum amount for it. But I think for the first time, in probably a very long time, Phil was actually considering his own mortality. I think that's what all that stemmed from. And he might have tried to pass it off in a very comedic way, but I think that's the long and short of it. So, take that for what you will. Oink, oink.
Wait a minute. Okay, then. Enough of that shit.
What's going on in stream chat? It's been over 2 minutes and no one said anything? What the hell's going on? There we go, now people are talking again. I think people were like falling asleep or something. Chenklotas? To me, $2 says, is coffee related to cocaine? I have no idea. Is it? I don't know. I'm not a drug cartel master here. I don't know what, I certainly don't know anything about drugs. I don't know if coffee and cocaine, you know, if cocaine comes from the same plant as coffee. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Troll Tipper. To me $1. And reference something about an illegal restreamer. Why does everyone want me to give Tevin a birthday shout out? You guys are fucking lame trolls. What? Who cares if I say fucking happy birthday to Tevin or not? Happy birthday to my #1 fucking thief who deserves jail time for the amount of fucking stuff that he steals illegally, except that YouTube won't do anything about it and he knows that I can't afford to stop him. Happy birthday, shithead. There you go.
Jail time. Jail time. Imagine that.
Yo. You happy? You got his 5 seconds of fame? There, that's out of the way. Now can we play for the rest of the night? Holy shit, man. Why do you give credit to fucking no-loads? Someone who never would have been known for anything if it weren't for me. Yes, let's talk about him all night. He'd love it. You guys love that, though. I mean, let's face it. People who follow him, they're like fucking... They idolize him and shit. They probably want to hold his dick when he pisses, too. You know? If they could, they probably would.
Jealous much? Because I think at one time, Phil used to have a bunch of people who used to idolize him, too. Some of them still do. But they used to idolize him and would do anything he wants on a whim, and he fell into a decline, as what happened to most people. And now look at him. And some of those same people are the same people who try to offer constructive criticism to him. And he tried to bat them away. He tried to shame him. He tried to shame them. And do all these other pieces of nonsense. And turned all of them into enemies, basically. Imagine that.
That's how these mentally challenged people are, man. Oh my god. That I'm not going to repeat, but I think that this is pretty funny. He's insulting him. He's saying that the illegal restreamer put dumb music over his stream, and now he can't even hear troll tips or anything I'm saying because an idiot put shitty music on his stream, and he's an idiot. So there you go. He insulted the criminal. Very nice. Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone. Just gone like that. In an instant. Fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. I eBay. Contributions are mandatory, but I need your help. I am appealing directly to you. No decency, no respect, no common sense, no fucking maturity. Is the guy who just doesn't get reality.
Insulting the criminal. That's what... I'm going to touch on that in just a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. Let's go and clean this mess up here a little bit. Let's clean all this up. All right. Insulted the criminal. Now, I had said, I think at the end of the last broadcast, on how much Tevin has tried very fucking hard to give Phil very good advice. And sadly, it all went to waste. It all went to waste. And if anything else that I've taken from this, hence the reason why I kind of go at Phil the way I do, is that there's nothing good out of helping him at all. Better people have tried, and he didn't give a shit. He did not give a goddamn about any of that. He's someone who cannot take criticism at all. So any pushback he gets on anything, he flusters and he falters on, which is rather immature, to be honest. It's rather pathetic. And we're talking about people, especially Tevin, who has made video upon video upon video pointing out how to do this, how he could do this, how he can improve that. There are videos that Tevin has talked about, these are older videos, obviously, like much, much older videos, where he talks about trying to reach out to him and saying, hey, you could do this, you could run this, you don't need to buy this, all you need is this, and you already have this, and Phil completely and totally discarded all of that. Now, with that being said, and with that taken as basically the ebb and flow, helping Phil in any type of capacity is a fool's errand. It's not worth it. Now, I don't know if maybe just early detractors had a lot more faith in Phil to some degree back then than they do now. I don't know. But it shouldn't have taken that long to come to the realization on what he is and how he's going to carry himself. But then again, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because I think, as it pertains to my generation, they've looked at that, or my graduating class, if you will. However, they look at it and realize there's no hope for Phil at all. If he doesn't want it, even when the answer's easy peasy, he doesn't want it. He wants to go ahead and play his cards out, losing hand and all, and let him. And then what's his response? They cheated. They lied. They knew something I didn't. It's unfair. This, that, and fuck all that. He chose what he chose. He gets what he gets. That's it. Could you say, or could you make the argument that some of the stuff that happens to Phil is unfair? Sure you could. That changes, sadly though, it changes nothing. Because he himself is not willing to change. For the 100 things that he does wrong, the one thing that he didn't do wrong, he'll try to ride that for everything it's worth. Bah, goat laugh all day. He'll take that and live off that instead of addressing the other 100 things that he did do wrong. The one thing that he didn't do wrong, oh, I didn't do this. No. See, this is how you know these guys are out to just get me. But what about the other 100 things that you did fuck up? That you did mess up on? Things that you did lie about? Things that you did say that you were completely misinformed on? That's the problem. It's consistently the problem. And not one of Phil's enablers have been able to explain anything to me worthwhile when it comes to that. Because at least a few that I've had the chance to talk to, when you bring that up, everybody go quiet. Because there ain't too much to say after that point. Giving Phil any type of what's the word I'm looking for? Giving Phil the benefit of the doubt on anything is just foolish because he'll misuse it. He doesn't want to work hard. He doesn't want to be successful. He doesn't want any of those things. If it was easy, yeah. But right now, he's complacent on living off of other people's back. That's all he wants. That's all the internet's good for. That's probably all the internet has ever been good for. He was never going to be good in the long run. He was never... It's like the argument with Alexander the Great, for example. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing Alexander the Great to Phil fucking Burnell. But hear me out. You know what I'm saying? Hear me, despite the fact he's a horse lover, hear me out. Alexander, going into his later years, was never going to be able to govern. He's a conqueror. That's all he ever cared to do. That's all he ever was probably going to do. He was never, even at his later age, he probably wouldn't have slowed down that much. More than likely, he was going to die on campaign anyway. Whether you believe that he died of malaria, excessive drinking, he was poisoned. I'm thinking he was probably poisoned. That's one of my thoughts anyway. No matter how he ended up dying, he was going to more than likely die young. If he did make it to an old age, he's still going to want to try to conquer everything. He's never going to be able to govern. He was someone who was born to destroy. That's what he is. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how some people are. They're born to destroy. Phil's the exact same way. The only difference is the only things that he destroys are things in his own life. The people at times in his own life. You're telling me that bleeding his parents dry year after year after year is helping them? You think trying to take advantage of a pet cat or of his wife Catherine, or try and deny Panda's very existence and all that bullshit is doing him any favors? You think him regurgitating all of that fucking nonsense that he put on YouTube for all those years prove anything about anything in the fact that any of his content had value? No, it don't. Realistically, it doesn't mean not a goddamn thing. It really don't. This right here will probably be remembered a little bit longer before his shit crashes and burns. But everybody crashes and burns eventually. All of this stuff is going to eventually become archived and be lost to the internet in some way, shape, or form. But trust me, he's going to go ahead and do this Monday Matt nonsense where he wants to try to outlast everybody. But that don't change people's opinion of you. If you think that you're going to just wait for the next generation of people on the internet to give you sympathy, right, and see that, look back at all the years and everything that happened to you, and you're like, you know what, they were kind of wrong about that, but I'll support you now. You're just another unrealistic motherfucker. And that's why people like Phil try to ice skate their asses uphill. And they fail miserably. And that's the truth, and that's the reality. People don't want to hear that. No one wants to see someone fail, believe it or not. But he is what he is. And he does what he does, and what's going to happen is what's going to happen. And that's the reality. But that's just the opinions of a cute pup in a sharp suit. Take of that what you will. September should be fun, to be honest. October and that whole Halloween thing is going to be a fucking train wreck. But, you know, we'll wait and see what happens. It's the hardcore begging season, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Hopefully something interesting comes out of it. And if not, something always happens. At least somewhat worthwhile. And give him enough rope and he'll hang himself. And that's the entertaining part. That's the entertaining part. Don't get me wrong, some of the artificial stuff is kind of cool, but you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, let him hang himself. That's where the real fun comes from. When his baby back ribs are on the grill and he has to squirm and he has to scramble, that's when shit's the most entertaining. At least in my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I will see you guys for the next broadcast whenever that might happen. You know, it is what it is. No one can ever really predict how things are going to work out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, I'm your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Don't forget to purchase your SnortBucks. Don't forget to purchase your SnortBucks coffee at a grocery store near you. Define sniff. End of broadcast. Had a hard time getting that out at the end there. Yeah.